Imagine this, you're standing in the middle of a dusty road, sun burning your shoulders, heart pounding in your chest, because a woman is screaming, begging, clawing at the air as a man tears her baby from her arms, all for a debt she never owed. If stories like this hit you, if they pull you in and shake something awake inside you, make sure you like this video and subscribe. Because what you're about to hear is going to stay with you. Clara didn't even know the man's name. He'd come to their broken wooden home at dawn, boots heavy enough to shake the floorboards. Her husband, Matthew, had slipped out 3 nights earlier, chasing whiskey and lies, leaving Clara with a newborn and a stack of debts tall enough to touch the roof. She had prayed Matthew was alive, prayed he'd return, prayed he'd choose his family. But prayers don't always get answers, sometimes they get consequences. The debt collector's voice was icy. Payments overdue. The man is gone. So the debt falls on you. Clara had no money, nothing to sell, nothing to trade, except the tiny bundle in her arms, warm and breathing, her entire world wrapped in a frayed gray blanket. "No," she whispered, clutching the baby tighter. "Please, please, not my child." But the man wasn't listening. People like him never listened. He pried the baby away while Clara screamed until her throat tore raw. She fell to her knees in the dirt, reaching, scraping, bleeding as the man walked away, her son wailing in his arms. By the time she staggered to her feet, they were already gone. All morning she wandered, dazed, whispering her baby's name like a prayer and a promise. Samuel. Her little Samuel. She didn't know what to do. No money. No horse. No family. No way to chase a man armed and cruel. Her legs shook. Her chest tightened. She tasted hopelessness like dust on her tongue. And then, at noon, the town heard hooves. Slow. Heavy. Purposeful. People peeked out of windows. A shadow stretched across the street before the rider even appeared. He rode a dark stallion big enough to swallow the light. His coat was worn. His beard was thick. His eyes were the kind that had seen winters no one should survive and still kept going. The Mountain Man. No one knew his real name. They called him Ridge. Some said he lived alone in the high pines. Some said he'd lost everything once, too. But everyone agreed on one thing: when he rode into town, something was about to change. Ridge saw Clara collapsed beside the well, dirt on her face, tears carving rivers through the dust. He dismounted silently, crouched beside her, and lifted her chin with one rough, gentle finger. "What happened?" His voice wasn't loud, but it carried quiet power, the kind that made people tell the truth. Clara broke. Words spilled out between sobs. They took my baby." Ridge didn't interrupt. Didn't question. Didn't lecture. He listened, jaw tightening with each detail she shared. "Which way?" She pointed with a trembling hand. Ridge stood, mounted again, and said just one thing before riding off like thunder unleashed. "I'll bring him back." Clara blinked. She didn't know this man. Didn't know why he cared. Didn't know if hope was a blessing or a curse. But something in her chest stirred, something she thought she'd lost when Samuel was taken. The ride wasn't easy. The tracks led into the outskirts, where the land turned jagged and the shadows felt alive. Ridge followed the trail to an abandoned barn used by men who didn't fear the law because they were the law in their own minds. Inside, Samuel's cries echoed. Ridge slipped in through the back, silent as mist. The debt collector and his 2 men were sitting at a table, counting coins they didn't earn. Samuel lay in a crate beside them, tiny fists waving weakly. Ridge didn't draw first. He waited. One of the men noticed movement. He reached for his gun. Too slow. Ridge's hand moved like a striking viper. In seconds, the first man was disarmed, the second thrown into a post hard enough to snap it, and the collector pinned to the wall with Ridge's forearm crushing the breath out of him. "You took a baby for money?" The collector choked. "Debt, had to collect, her husband." Ridge pressed harder. "You took from the wrong woman." The man scrambled to offer the only thing of value in the room, Samuel. Ridge grabbed the baby with surprising gentleness, wrapping him in his coat. The collector reached for a hidden knife. Bad mistake. The mountain man knocked him out cold with a single blow. Moments later, Ridge was riding back toward town, Samuel tucked securely against his chest, his tiny head resting against the beat of Ridge's steady heart. Clara saw them before anyone else. She ran. Ridge dismounted and held out the baby. Clara fell into his arms, sobbing into Samuel's blanket, trembling with relief so deep it nearly broke her. You brought him back," she whispered. Ridge nodded once. "He belongs with his mother." People gathered, whispering, staring, but Ridge stepped back, letting Clara be the center of her own miracle. Later, as the sun dipped and the world softened, Clara approached Ridge where he stood by his horse. "I don't know how to thank you." "You don't owe me anything," he said, adjusting his saddle. "Just raise him well. That's thanks enough." But Clara shook her head. "You saved my son. And you saved me. If you ever need a place, you'll always have one with us." Ridge looked at her then, really looked, and something unspoken passed between them. Not a promise. Not a romance. Not yet. Just a beginning. A spark of something life gives only after taking almost everything else. Clara held Samuel close, the mountain breeze tugging at her hair. Ridge rode off toward the hills, but this time, he didn't disappear completely. He looked back. Sometimes, the people who walk into our lives at the darkest moment, become the reason light returns. And if stories like this touch your heart, if they make you think, feel, hope, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Because there are more stories out there waiting for you, stories of strength, courage, and the kind of miracles only humans can create. And this was one of them.